Welcome to the April 25th regular meeting of the Calaveras County Planning Commission. We'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Are there any staff announcements or agenda changes today?
I have one. I was missing you guys. So I thought I'd come and say good morning. I'm sure you're already aware because you've all been diligently paying attention to your email, but just a quick announcement. We are very pleased to announce that our final draft zoning code update is up on the county website as of April 12th. I've also emailed the document to all of you for your final review. Just in case you haven't downloaded it, I just wanted to remind you that it's only available to you in the file box until May 23rd. So if you haven't looked at it already, make sure you download it and take another look. If you guys want a copy, please let me know and I will go ahead and print you a copy. I've already given Tim Laddish his copy as requested, so just let me know if you guys need something. In addition, I wanted to kind of let you know what our tentative schedule is for our action hearing, and right now we are looking at June 13th, so kind of keep the month of June open. We're hoping that we can get through the final consideration of the draft in the one meeting, but we will not be holding any more special meetings, so this will be a regularly scheduled Thursday Planning Commission.
So June 13th is the one and only date I will be missing planning here.
Okay.
I'll be in Georgia.
Georgia. Okay.
Would be worthwhile holding a special meeting because we really want to get this to the board in July if we can.
Yeah.
So maybe we can coordinate and find a
And do
Wednesday.
2 days the follow at the 2 weeks later when we would have done the second one, or?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I'm just saying if I'll be gone from the 12th through for about 5 days.
Okay.
I'd chime in here in that I think maybe I caused things to go to June because I'm not going to be available for the May 25th meeting.
Right. Well, and Peter's not available that day either, so.
But we could negotiate a time around there if you're,
Yeah, so.
We may need a little more time to finish everything up, get the findings developed, all that. So we're looking at early June if possible.
Okay.
So why don't we see, maybe we can schedule a meeting like maybe the Wednesday, the first week of the month or something rather than the second. So we'll try to figure out a special meeting date that we can do that.
Yeah, so you're going to be gone again, what days? Can I borrow?
I think it's from the 12th for about a week.
Okay.
I tried to do it in between, but I couldn't make it work.
And everyone else, just do me a favor, when you go home today, take another quick look at your June calendar. Email me and let me know if there's any conflicts potentially. Because we really, really want to get this to the board in July. And if we can't meet sometime in June, then that's going to push this out until August.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is, but we really have the desire to get it to them in July.
and I'd point out that Gina has provided me with a hard copy of the code with track changes, but the question is that these are just the track changes since the last printout. Right?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
And there's a clean copy available to you as well. If you want one, just let me know. So again, I would appreciate it if you'd take another quick look at your calendar, shoot me any potential conflicts. Again, we're looking at June, earlier the better, just so we can get this to the board in July and not push it out until August.
I'm available. What you
Good. Yeah.
personally?
And that includes perhaps maybe, like Peter suggested, having a special meeting. So a Thursday, maybe on a non-planning commission scheduled date would be good as well. Okay?
And we think it'll all be able to be done one day.
Well, that's up to you guys.
I know. So there is great hope for that.
We're hopeful. I think we've reviewed it enough at this point that, I don't really anticipate any more, concerns from the commission. Although we haven't really had much of a discussion about the zoning map component. So that's what we're preparing right now is finalizing the zoning map. In addition, that would be the majority of the staff report to you is the discussion about where we are with the map and how we came to the conclusion of what you're.
Could we maybe do it the week in advance on a Thursday if the room's available?
Yeah, then like I said, let me know so we can get that scheduled. There's a lot of work that we need to do on our end as far as noticing public hearings and scheduling meeting rooms and things. And so the earlier, the better. I would appreciate any communication from you guys today, if that would be okay.
The 6th works for me.
The 6th, okay. All right. With that, I'll let you carry on with your agenda.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day, everyone.
And no agenda changes today?
No, there are none.
Then this is an opportunity for the public to comment on items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission, but not posted on the consent or regular agendas today. Is there anybody who is here to make public comment or online? Annette?
Yes. Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Infacino, Calaveras Planning Coalition. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I have a question. As we go over the extension of time that's coming up, sometimes I get confused about our process. Is it just going to be 3 minutes for public comment, or will there be comment and rebuttal?
So there will be the typical process. So you'll have an opportunity to comment, and once we've heard your comments, then the applicant and staff will respond to any items brought up. So there won't be an
And those-
opportunity for you to make a second round of comments.
Thank you.
We don't have an appeal
Right.
file, is that correct?
Exactly. Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Then we'll close the opportunity for public comment and move on to the consent agenda. And I believe that we are going to complete the consent agenda today. Is there any member of the public or the commission who would like to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Don't you dare. That's it. All right. Seeing none, I'm open to a motion to approve the minutes of September 14th, October 11th, October 12th, and October 18th.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Passes 4-1-0. No, 4-0-1. And we'll move on to our regular agenda. Item 1, 2023-050, extension of time for tentative subdivision tract map 2019-006. This item was continued from our meeting on 4/11/24. And I believe Madeline is going to lead this discussion.
Yes, good morning. So this is project number 2023-050, which is a request for a 60-month extension of time from Madison MRH8 Marina LLC to extend the expiration date of approved tentative subdivision tract map 2019-006 for the golf club at Copper Valley, which is formerly known as Saddle Creek. The proposed subdivision is located at the west of the Saddle Creek Drive and Little John Road intersection in Copperopolis. So on September 10th, 2020, the Planning Commission signed a resolution approving the map, which proposes to create 752 residential parcels. I was going to bring this up here. If I can, slideshow start. And share my screen. Come on. There we go. So this is proposing to create 752 residential parcels and 48 condos on 295 acres within the existing 890-acre subdivision. There's a lot of background to this project in the staff report regarding the historical entitlements for the Saddle Creek development, for the specific plan and the development agreement, which I won't get into here, but it's there because this map is one of the units of the original subdivision approved as part of the specific plan, and I just wanted you guys to have all that info. So the map was conditionally approved in 2020, allowing the applicant 36 months to record, but the map was set to expire on September 10th, 2023, and was not recorded by this expiration date. So the applicant filed a timely request to extend it by 60 months to allow them additional time to finish all their conditions of approval. The Subdivision Map Act allows a discretionary extension of time for a period not to exceed 6 years on top of the initial 36 months that they get granted by the Planning Commission. But county code states that only 5 years of discretionary extensions may be granted, but this is obviously preempted by state law, which requires up to 6. The current application, however, is just for 5 years. So section 1608.040B1 of County Code states that the applicant shall provide evidence to demonstrate that a good faith effort has been made in pursuit of meeting the conditions of the map, which includes pursuing approval from other agencies, engineer design plans, and actual construction. And as you can see from Resolution 2020-018, which was the approving document in Attachment 4, and the timeline of work that was submitted by the applicant in Attachment 3, the permit process for this project is quite extensive, requiring several agreements and permits from multiple agencies. The major one being a condition of approval requiring that a secondary access road be connected at Flint Trail with any development in the southern portion of the project. Currently, the golf club at Copper Valley is accessed via a single entrance point from Little John Road by way of Saddle Creek Drive. The previously approved secondary access road, which was contained entirely within the specific plan area, proved to be problematic due to some protected wetland areas. So the project applicant has been working on acquiring land and preparing legal environmental documentation for the construction of a revised secondary, improved South Flint secondary access road. So between 2021 and 2023, legal documents were prepared to transfer lands from the Calaveras County Water District, which owns the adjacent parcel. Designs were made and studies were completed for the South Flint Trail Secondary Access Road project. In 2023, an addendum to the 1993 Saddle Creek EIR was prepared by the De Novo Planning Group to accommodate this change. So due to the need for the redesigned secondary access road, the work necessary to complete all the conditions of approval was just too extensive to be completed within the 36 months allowed. So the request for a 5-year extension of time is exempt from the provisions of CEQA pursuant to guideline 15061B3, as it can be seen with certainty that there's no possibility that the extension in question may have a significant effect on the environment. And the project remains exempt under Government Code Section 65457, which states that any residential development project, including any subdivision or any zoning change that is undertaken to implement and is consistent with a specific plan for which an environmental impact report has been certified after January 1st, 1980, is exempt from the requirements of CEQA. And even if the extension was not exempt from CEQA on either of those two bases, on the basis of the whole record, there's no substantial evidence that granting a 16-month extension to record the final subdivision tract map as design and conditions will alter the conclusions of the 1993 EIR in any way that would trigger the requirement for an addendum or any subsequent EIR document, CEQA document, excuse me. So in conclusion, it's staff opinion that the applicant has demonstrated a good faith effort to meet the conditions of approval. Progress toward recordation of the map has been delayed because of condition of approval requiring an alternative secondary access that was acceptable to the Public Works Department. The applicant is currently preparing the grading plans for the access road and just needs additional time to prepare those. So they have shown that they are diligently working toward the completion of the conditions and have invested significantly in these project tasks. And the applicant, on behalf of Madison MRH, Mike Fletcher and Tom Hicks are here if you have questions for them regarding their timeline or any of the conditions that are left to be completed. And I have some maps on here too, if you need visuals to kind of understand where all of the development is proposed. Thank you.
Any questions for Madeline?
Do you have a map that's showing the proposed Flint access? Or
So what I have is the figure that was in the addendum that was prepared last year by De Novo Planning. This is just the project area that was considered to be the area of disturbance. This is what was analyzed in the addendum. We don't have a grading plan submitted yet, so we don't have anything
I'm just
specific.
curious, what are the red lines on the map?
That is labeled as the area of disturbance.
And so the southern end of that area of disturbance, is that outside the current area that's going to be part of the map?
So I don't have a figure that shows
I can ask this of the
this
proponents.
combined with this. So kind of hard for me to know until we have those grading plans specifically showing us what's happening. Hard for me to say.
Okay.
Would the project proponents like to speak? Good morning, again.
My name is Mike Fletcher. I'm with CB Development Partners representing Copper Valley. Thank you, Madam Chair and the Planning Commission. We appreciate your time today. We're excited to bring this forward. It's been a long process. We've made good progress, and we can address some of your questions regarding Flint Trail. I think I brought this with me too. I think it's important to have enough copies for everyone if you want to see it. It might be a little bit easier to kind of have you to receive this as I talk through it a little bit. Is that okay to do? Let's see. I think I have another one here too. One more. Is that okay? Yeah. And we appreciate having Peter back. It's nice to have him and have his expertise. He has a long-term knowledge regarding the project, so thank you, Peter, for being here to help support in that. And we appreciate the efforts of staff in trying to deal with this issue. We've had ongoing numerous discussions with CCWD on the best way to do this. It's a condition of the map that was stated by Madeline that we have to put in the secondary access. And if you look at what I received, or the front page, we'll go through that initially. And because I think Flint Trail is an important part of this, but it's really important that we understand that the amount of efforts and energies that's gone into the vested tentative map way and beyond the Flint Trail access. So what we have done, if you go to the first page here, and I know it's a little bit small, but this purple area here is what we're calling Prominence and Mitchell Lake. We have to do the first final map concurrently. We can't final map until the Flint Trail access is in and complete. We can do it concurrently. So we are processing the improvement plans, grading plans, doing all the site work for both Prominence, and we've done it already for Mitchell Lake. Going back to the first page, or I'm sorry, right here on this page, Flint Trail comes right on through here and connects to this location and also connects to our Prominence project. There is no connection, because I've heard rumors of it connecting to a property on a southern boundary or those things. If that was ever to be done, that would be a separate submittal, that would be a separate application, that would have something else to do. It has nothing to do with this. This is the secondary access to serve this purple portion, to get all the traffic out of this as a secondary access, and also to make the connection for the rest of it. Right now, they just go through the main entry gate is the main access point for the project. So going back to the first page, we've done all the site survey work and all the GPS work for that. We've done utility connection studies and verifications because we acquired after a lot of that was put in. We've done the topographical mapping for the first maps 1 and 2, which includes Prominence, and also for Mitchell Lake, so we've done all of that. We've done the engineered grading plans, including the cross-section analysis for view studies and impact analysis. We've done the improvement plans for the first final map, actually right in the middle of those right now, getting ready to submit those. We've done all the infield tree work. The grading plan is it'll be the first project in Copper Valley that has been really sensitive to trees with contour grading, and it won't be a mass grading operation, so we're really excited about bringing that forward. We've shared it with Peter at the planning department and staff. We've overlaid all the environmental areas and control sheets for engineering, so we have all that done, Fish and Game, Fish and Wildlife Service and that. Again, this does not cross, we're acquiring the property with CCWD, so there was quite a bit of conversations going back and forth with that, where that alignment would be, what areas would have to be acquired. I do have a sheet here that has the alignment on it if staff needs that. We have processed the preliminary bonding analysis for this work too, for the first 2 maps, and we've also been meeting with our financial institutions on getting the financing prepared to go. Our goal from a time frame is to get this completed, get the grading plans completed, get it submitted to staff along with the grading plans and improvement plans for the first map, which will be Prominence, so that they can go concurrently. The way that we finance this roadway is with the first map that we record with Prominence, and it's a condition of the map, and our financial institutions are fine with that. So appreciate the time. We think that we have met the ordinance or the requirement here on what we need. Have put in substantial money. We employ over 100 people. And we're wanting to get this started as fast as we possibly can. We have offices and staffs, and we've been working a long time on plans and gradings. We are under construction on houses now. We've improved 27 lots out there and to get those done, ready to go. So we feel like we've really met the requirements here and look forward to continuing forward, and we will need time. There has been some staff changes. Staff is trying to get up to speed on this project. It does not go through at a very quick pace here with the planning department, although they're using their best efforts. So we think the time is, we don't think we will maybe necessarily have to go 5 years, but it's our banks, our financial institutions, our partnerships and everything else. That's really important to have that. Because we'd always have some unknowns that can possibly happen. So we appreciate the consideration today, and I'm available to answer any questions or have any rebuttal to any comments that are made.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Yeah, on your map that you provided today,
Yes.
can you tell us where on that map the secondary access would link up?
I sure can. It's, unfortunately, it's here's Little John Road coming down here. So if you continue that off the paper sheet, it comes in just right about here.
So there's a number 11 on the map. Are we looking
And number 11 on the
by
map.
Mitchell Lake?
Yeah, that's Mitchell Lake, but what it does is it actually comes through from Little John right around through here. This is CCWD property that we're in the, acquiring. And it comes right through here and then comes down and then ties into Prominence at the bottom corner.
At the bottom corner of Providence?
Yes, of Prominence, and also makes this tie-in, so this traffic can get out to the secondary access, and all of this traffic can come through this Prominence connection. It does not connect to the southern property boundary, so there's we're not asking for anything like that. So it's merely to handle the condition of this map.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, then we will open this up for public comment. Is there anybody here in the room who'd like to make public comment? No. Then is there anybody online?
Yes. Go ahead, Nancy. Nancy, you can go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Nancy Henderson, and I do live in Copperopolis. And I would like to address this extension of time regarding the Flint Trail Access Road condition on the tentative map and the proposed 5-year extension of time by the applicant, Madison MRH-8 Marina LLC, not Copper Valley and/or its multiple entities. The Flint Trail Road Access Road was mandated by the Public Works Condition 11-4 of the Planning Commission Resolution 2020-018 in order to not only provide a second emergency exit from the golf club at Copper Valley / Saddle Creek, but to allow close to 800 homes to be built within this gated subdivision. The staff report indicates that the permit process will require agreements and permits for multiple agencies. The major delay in building the Flint Trail Access Road is because the applicant has requested that this road be extended to an old and controversial subdivision, Tuscany Hills, which was not part of the original Planning Commission Resolution 2020-018. As a condition of this extension of time, I ask the commission to direct the applicant to apply for and build the Flint Trail Access Road to the specific plan area, not the further extension to Tuscany Hills, as well as hold the applicant to a 1-year extension. The Flint Trail Access Road is an important emergency access road in order to provide the current and future residents peace of mind in order to quickly evacuate should the need arise. As stated by staff, the applicants, quote, 5-year extension are not proposing any changes to the project, end quote, and should be held to the original specific plan as stated in Planning Commission Resolution 2020-018. Over the past 30 years, the residents of Copperopolis have been working toward a community plan. They have seen many new developments and watched the population almost triple. During 2022 and 2023, I've worked with my neighbors, my current supervisor, and the previous planning director to draft the current version of the Copperopolis Community Plan. Unfortunately, this plan has not moved forward for the past 8 months, which hasn't allowed the Planning Commission to review it in order to make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. I'm asking the Planning Commission to review the draft community plan in order to make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors in 2024. This will ensure all parties have a stake in the plan's prompt approval. By extending this extension of time to 1 year, the people of Copperopolis will realize there is a level playing field when it comes to planning what's best for the Copperopolis community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Tom, go ahead.
Comment Facino, Calaveras Planning Coalition. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with what Nancy said. Regarding the Flint Trail extension, this is not a rumor. As you saw, the map from staff presented with the red lines on it, the initial study for this road goes not only to the Oak Creek Drive, but below Oak Creek Drive, right to the boundaries of Tuscany Hills. So it's not a rumor. This is a studied extension, and this needs to be clarified. Now, the applicants suggest that this can't be clarified because the project is consistent with the general plan, and you can't otherwise change a condition. Well, we all know this project is not consistent with the general plan. First of all, the project itself was approved on an exemption from consistency with the 2019 general plan. And second, the road in question is not on any of the general plan relevant maps. For example, the land use map in the land use element does not include this road. The expansion of roads necessary by 2035 map does not include this road. The Copperopolis community map in the community planning element does not include this road. So you are free to make whatever limitations on that condition you want. As far as the timeliness, the time span of this map, again, you have the discretion. You can extend it from 1 year from today, 2 years from today, or the total 5 years that the applicant wants. You have that discretion. Finally, what I want you to consider when you get around to updating the county subdivision ordinance, please amend it so that the extensions of time are preceded by an assessment of the overall status of the subdivision, the specific plan, and any community plan related to that subdivision in question. Some of you commissioners may recall that when we considered the extension of time for the development agreement for the Saddle Creek specific plan back in 2014, the CPC proposed such extensions of time be preceded by sort of a health checkup for projects and the related plans. There have been changes in circumstances. I've outlined them in the letter I showed you, provided with you last week. Changes in circumstances regarding the circumstances in Copperopolis should trigger some serious discussion by this commission regarding the future of the specific plan and the extension of time for subdivision in question today. The only time Copperopolis seems to get the commission's attention is for the approval of a subdivision, a variance, a use permit, or an extension of time. If that's going to be the case moving forward, then let's use that time to also evaluate the specific plan, the community plan, and the other relevant plans that dictate the context and landscape in which a proposed project will be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else online?
There's no other online public comment for this item.
Then we will close the public comment portion of this hearing and return it to the commissioners.
I have several questions for the applicant again.
Sure. Mr. Fletcher, you want to come back up?
Sure.
So it seems to be there a difference of opinion on where this road might lead.
Well, there's no difference of opinion. I understand that there is concern for them, but there is a process. If this road was to connect, the process that we've gone through is we have done looks as far as getting the secondary access in. Prominence, the first section, that grading has been done and it's on your colored map and it shows a connecting point there. We are not connecting to Tuscany. We are not making any further connections to Tuscany. But if we do, at that point in time, we would bring that forward. We have no plans at this time to make a connection. We are exploring all options, but that would be a separate approval, a separate public hearing, and that would have to be talked about. We're bringing the access down to get traffic to be able to exit our project, Prominence. And it's a health and safety issue, and it's the right way to do it, to have 2 points of connection, especially if you look at the colored map, which takes Prominence all the way down the southern border. Let me get back to what on the colored map on page 2, That connection point is right here. This is the approved vested tentative map. We're making some modifications to it, but right here was a connection that we were hoping to do. But all of the traffic will come through Prominence on an egress and come right through that exit point. It is not connected to Tuscany. If that was to happen, it would be, have to do that with a separate approval in the future. So to hold up and assume that this approval has anything to do with that is not right. It's not correct.
I think the question that was being raised, that somehow it showed the road or the proposed road also heading south.
Yeah, there's no, at this point, it's not a part of the approval. There's nothing that's been submitted here to do that. Our approval today is to extend it and make the connection at Prominence. And that's what we're asking for today, an extension in the amount of time to be able to do that.
And Prominence is
that
always
purple
been a
section.
part of the,
It is, and we can't do Prominence until we can do the main access road, the secondary access road, and the two had to be designed and engineered together because they have to connect. So it's just the way that it has to be done.
and in your submission with Mr. Hicks, attachment 1 had the global response to public comments.
Okay.
Can you tell, who prepared that?
I think Tom did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to address that to Tom?
Yeah, would you like to?
Come up, we'll stand side by side, I guess.
Actually, that was really about my only, I mean, I found it very informative.
Good job, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioner, Madam. Yeah, Tom Hicks, I did prepare that comment. We did speak with our land use attorney, and she added the code section in there, but I didn't do that. But everything else was in there that I
And
did put in.
this was prepared in coordination with what's being reviewed by the Public Works Department now?
That's correct. Thank you. Any other questions?
I do not.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Do we want to take a look at this revised resolution?
Yeah. I have one suggestion, one word suggestion.
Really?
On page 2, right, the first paragraph of be it therefore resolved. The request for a 60-month extension of time is exempt from the provisions. Just needs the word. Page
I'm not
2.
following. Are you looking at the revised?
I'm looking at the second, the second
Okay, what
revision.
page?
We had a third revision. Or
Oh.
there was an original and 2 revisions.
Yes, right. I'm
Yeah, we're
the one
looking
that
at
came in
Second
yesterday.
revision.
second revision,
Yesterday,
yes.
April 24th.
Okay.
Page 2,
Oh, page 2. Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Be it therefore resolved.
Mhm.
The first line, there's just a word missing. The request for a 60-month extension of time is exempt from the provision.
Yes.
That's a good thing we didn't have 3 sentences. Okay. Page 2 of the current revision, right in the middle of the page, number 1, the request for a 60-month extension of time is exempt, and then the word from needs to be in there.
Thank you. I missed it. Does anybody else have any comments on the resolution? Is there anyone interested in making a motion?
I do have a comment. While now, in consideration of an extension of time, we have no jurisdiction to approve or deny changes to the project or the environment. I can see where we could have a situation with a question of whether the extension by itself would affect the environment. But I believe we don't need to go into that, even assuming that we would have jurisdiction to do so. because as pointed out in the resolution at the bottom of page 3, environmental studies were completed on the South Flint Trail Secondary Access Road project, and an addendum to the EIR was prepared, and et cetera. Anyhow, it's all the environment appears to be taken care of elsewhere, and so we don't need to worry about whether we would have jurisdiction to consider those questions.
Yep, so I think the summary of that is we're only looking at the extension of time today. We are not looking at whether the modification of the exact location of the road is a significant change to the project or not, and we are not looking at the environmental consequences of that change.
I agree.
So would someone like to make a motion?
I also move, we approve the continuation for 60 months, and also approving the resolutions 2024-010, designating an exemption from CEQA, and also the tentative track map as well.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Passes 4-0-1. Thank you. Thank you.
And just for the record, this action is final unless appealed to the Board of Supervisors within 15 calendar days.
Thank you.
Been 3
Okay.
years since I've got to say that.
Yeah. And I always leave it for one of you guys to say. Item 2, 2023-072, extension of time of tentative parcel map 2020-071 for Lowell and Sylvia Schlafman. And they've had similar challenges. So, Madeline, I think this one's yours also.
Oh, yes. Okay, so this is project number 2023-072, which is a request for a 6-year extension of time from Lowell and Sylvia Schlafman to extend the expiration date of approved tentative parcel map 2020-071. The subject property is APN 068-069-014, which is identified as Lot H and is located at 234 Jones Street in Murphy's. So on January 28th, 2021, the Planning Commission signed a resolution approving the tentative parcel map to divide an approximately 7,000 square foot portion of the Arbors condominium plan to a fee simple lot. The TPM was conditionally approved, allowing the applicant 36 months to record the map. The map was set to expire on January 28th, 2024, and on December 7th, 2023, a request was submitted to the Planning Department to extend the expiration of the map for the maximum extent allowed under the Subdivision Map Act. So the Arbors condominium plan, which was originally recorded in 2002, is a mixed-use development in the center of downtown Murphy's. Lot H of the condo plan is a approximately 7,000 square foot fee simple lot, including the existing 2,185 square foot single-family dwelling, which is currently owned by the applicants. Private access to Lot H is off of Jones Street and will remain as such with no proposed or required improvements. The fee simple lot will allow the applicants to have full and irrevocable ownership of the land as well as the existing structure, allowing them to maintain their property without seeking approval from the Property Owners Association. Currently, as a condo, only the interior airspace of the residence is individually owned. The exterior walls, structures, and common area are held by a corporation made up of the condo owners. So the TPM includes conditions from the Planning Department and Public Works for reasons expressed by the applicant's extension request in Attachment 3. The final map has not been recorded by its expiration date of January 28th. Therefore, the applicant is asking for additional time to complete the requirements. They filed the request to extend under the maximum allowed under the Subdivision Map Act, which I said previously is 6 years, which is on top of the initial 36 months that's granted by the Planning Commission. While County Code 1608-040A doesn't expressly require the Planning Commission to make any findings in order to approve a discretionary extension for a tentative parcel map, the county has consistently applied this standard under subsection B for the tentative subdivision map extensions when considering requests for discretionary extensions for parcel maps in order to be consistent, which requires the demonstration of a good faith effort to support approval. The Arbors is a large mixed-use parcel with many structures, and as discussed in the application, it has multiple owners and lenders, all of whom are required to sign the final map for recordation, some of which live out of the state. So this, combined with the fact that the Homeowners Association only meets once a year, has made the work necessary to complete the conditions of approval too extensive to be accomplished within the 36 months that was originally allowed. So the request for 6 years is before you today. This request is exempt from the provisions of CEQA pursuant to guideline 15061B3, as it can be seen with certainty that there's no possibility that the extension in question may have a significant effect on the environment. The scope of CEQA review today is limited to whether or not to grant the time extension under County Code Section 1608-040, the findings of which are based solely on whether the applicant has made progress in good faith on the completion of their already approved map conditions. No changes to the project or the conditions of approval are being proposed at this time, and no additional development will occur as a result of this time extension. So in conclusion, it's staff opinion that the applicant has demonstrated a good faith effort to meet the conditions of approval. They're requesting a 6-year extension and they're not proposing any changes to the project. They just simply need more time to get all the required signatures before they'll be able to record the final map. The project remains viable as approved, and the applicants have demonstrated that they are committed to completing this project, and allowing the applicants 6 more years will not be detrimental to the county. And I believe both Lowell and Sylvia Schlafman are here today if you have any more questions for them regarding this application. Thank you.
Yes, in the resolution, number 3, the applicant has made a good faith effort to complete the map conditions. And in the evidence, it seems to me you are presenting the problems that they had to start with. We haven't been provided with anything that they've done since the initial approval to show that it's a good faith effort that they're dealing with those problems they had to start with. So maybe it's better directed to them, but do we have any indication that anything has been done, that any signatures have been gained?
Let's have the applicant tell us exactly what they've been trying to do.
We have the applicant's agent online who would like to speak.
Sure.
Go ahead, Robert. Robert, you can speak.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the unmute.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. Sorry about that. My name is Robert Osborne. I am the project land surveyor. In answer to the commissioner's question, since the approval of the tentative map, the final map has been completed. Boundary monuments have been set. All conditions have been met. The final map has been circulated via the Schlafman's attorney to the association's attorney several times. Signatures have been acquired on some, and then dates, changes in ownership, changes in lenders have come and gone, and so we've been required to actually prepare and re-prepare the certificate sheet several times. I support the requested extension and agree with staff's report that it's accurate. I respectfully request the commission vote in favor, allow us to continue this arduous process of acquiring signatures from so many disparate entities. If you have any questions for me, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you.
I do have a question. This is Commissioner Laddish. How many signatures do you need to obtain, and how many have you obtained?
I don't have the map in front of me. I believe there's probably in the order of 8, 10, or a dozen, somewhere in there, along with the owner signatures or any lenders have to sign off. Modifications have to be prepared for security and so forth. I believe we have 3 or 4 signatures. An idea that I have to maybe help with this process is to prepare additional certificate sheets in order that the signatures could be circulated to the interested parties separately so that one map doesn't have to be mailed continuously all over the country.
And the resolution states that the owners association only meets once a year, that if you had the various signatures, you could ask for a special meeting, correct?
Well, the Schlafman's attorney, Mr. Jim Cherry, has been in constant contact with the association's attorney, irrespective of the association meeting only annually. So we have been circulating the map via the association's attorney and making attempts to acquire signatures that way. The biggest problem that we have is people go on vacation, they're not home. If they're out of state, then we have the wrong acknowledgement, notary's acknowledgement. Sometimes out-of-state notaries don't comply with California notary law and so forth. So the biggest challenge in this entire project, and I knew that it would be from the very beginning, is to acquire, as I mentioned, so many disparate entities, signatures, acknowledgements, and so forth. The Schlafmans have done everything in their power, and that includes their attorney, Jim Cherry, and myself, to complete this in the first 3 years, but it just wasn't possible.
You're asking for a 6-year extension. I wonder whether a less extension would create the need to get this done more quickly.
Well, you could do that, but it's not gonna, it won't make any difference. It's not gonna hurry the project up to try to make it a shorter extension. Shortening the extension will, however, impact the Schlafmans in that they have to pay an extension fee when the time, if the time runs out on them. Not knowing how long this is going to take, that's why I specifically asked for the maximum extension.
I am personally aware of projects like this that went on for well over a decade. The attempting to get a lot of signatures from a lot of different property owners when there are lenders involved, it isn't really all that fun.
I'm kind of curious why Tim is concerned about the length of time.
Well, I was concerned, what we were presented with, we didn't have any of the information that the agent has just presented us with as far as what has been done. I was concerned in that from what we could tell, nothing had been done.
Right.
And that they,
That I received a map structure somewhere.
Well, but as far as what has been done in the last 36 months, I was totally ignorant as to what had been done. I don't know if the resolution, the evidence under number 3 could be beefed up a bit. I think we would look a little better that we're actually doing things recognizing good faith efforts.
I think we probably could have done a better job of documenting what that is. And I have some language I would propose that we substitute in there that actually lists from what Mr. Osborne had stated had been done that would, basically state these are the things that, so if you're prepared, that, after the, close the public hearing, I'll present that language to you for your
I
consideration.
have similar concerns as well, and we're just hopeful for some ballpark sense of what time frame we're talking about as opposed to open-ended number of years. But
Well, yeah.
ballpark timeframe is difficult.
It is an open-ended, and we have not had a policy in this county to limit the amount of extension time that we have typically granted. Some jurisdictions are much more constraining as far as their, I know jurisdictions that do only 1 year at a time. In this case, it doesn't seem to make sense since, it's not a controversial project. It is a complex process to go through to get that number of signatures.
I wasn't concerned about limiting it. I was just concerned about what timeframe are we talking about for the signatures to be obtained. That's
And I'm still trying to figure out why it would be a problem for it to be extended to 6 years, even if they hadn't started yet. If-
Well, how about
I'm
we,
trying to-
we're gonna come back and
Okay,
we'll
all
discuss
right,
it.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and, would you guys like to make a statement?
Yeah. Morning. My name is Lowell Schloffman. My wife Sylvia. We are the current owners at 234 Jones Street. We started this process well over 3 years ago. And being as naive as I am, I thought 6 months in the process and everything would be resolved. And it's been years. For me to try to make an estimate of what it would take to complete this is way beyond my pay scale. I have no idea. The planning department, however, is well aware of what we have done. We have created drawings through the surveyor. We have submitted those, got those approved. We have this paperwork left our hands literally years ago, and we haven't seen it since then. So it goes from person to person and state to state. And even though the homeowners association has already approved all of these things, they're not objecting to it. Their attorney, the attorney that represents the homeowners association, says, yes, but you have to have these signatures. We requested the attorney for the homeowners association get the power of attorney to actually sign for them. And he said, yeah, that's possible. However, that's going to take more time, and I don't know if I can even do that. So as far as what we've done, there is literally, we haven't even seen the paperwork for years. It's been around and around and around the horn, and I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it is today. But I can't control that. And for you to ask me how long it's going to take, I wish it was over. I wish it would have taken the original 6 months that I thought it was going to take. And after 3 years, well, I'm ready for it to be done. But in terms of what we can do to expedite it, is absolutely zero. Well, I can't take it from person to person, from state to state. And a lot of that is the lending agencies, because even though the homeowners association has said, okay, we agree with all your stuff, then it goes to the lending agency who has no concept of what we're talking about. And all they know is we're trying to sign off on something that is that going to devaluate their property? Well, maybe they're not going to sign for it because they think it'll have some bearing on the value of their property. I have no control over that. I just want to get it done. So you guys have all the information. We're asking for the maximum amount of time, just so we don't have to go through it. We've already paid for an extension on it, which we shouldn't have had to do. This should have been run through the process and cleaned up a long time ago. But unfortunately, it hasn't. And we have no control over it. If I did, it would be done, but I don't. So please take.
I really appreciate you.
Take that into consideration. We're not trying to put this off. We're not trying to avoid our responsibilities in this regard. We're doing what we can, but this is what we can do today is just talk to you. So there it is.
Thank you. I'd like to open public comment on this item. Is there anyone in the room who would like to make public comment? or anybody online?
There isn't any online public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll close the public comment portion of the hearing and bring it back to the commissioners. So now you guys can talk.
Okay, just for future reference, because I don't have as much experience as the two of you do, because I like to see both sides. So for me, I don't see any reason why there would ever be an instance where we wouldn't, and I'm hoping that you can articulate a reason why we would want to limit. Both of you would probably have.
Yeah, if there had been no good faith effort in the first 36 months, then I was prepared to just propose a 2-year extension of time. And because that is the test that we've applied, is has there been a good faith effort? And if nothing had happened, and people were just sitting around and things weren't developing.
Or possibly a financial reason that they couldn't afford to
Whatever,
do.
you know, it's just that our test is a good faith effort. The resolution didn't indicate a good faith effort had happened. It just stated the problem that existed when things started. I'm now convinced that the owners have done everything they possibly can. The idea that there's a document floating around the country that could get lost at any time is overwhelming to me. As long as we can beef up the evidence under finding number 3, I'm happy with the extension of time that's being granted.
I've had no issue with the extension of time at all. I only had a question about the ballpark timeframe we're talking about, and you presented that quite well, so I have no issue.
Colorful explanation. So Peter, you had some ideas for language in the resolution?
Yes, I think we just substitute the evidence section for the following. A parcel map has been prepared for recording, boundary markers have been set, and several of the numerous required owner signatures have been acquired. That shows what they've done so far to date. We don't need to get into the details of why that's,
Yep.
Okay.
This is good explanation to you, and it was in the staff report, but I agree with you that that doesn't really document what they have done to show the good faith effort. So I think, having what they've done does that. And with a parcel map of this nature, they've done everything they possibly can, except for get those signatures. And I agree with, Michelle, that it's going to be very, very complex getting some of these signatures.
And, in the time you're waiting for the last guy's signature, the first guy can have sold it.
Yeah.
And you have to come back, or they have changed their lender by refinancing. It's quite a circular process.
6 years may not be enough, the way you were talking.
So does anybody else have any comments on the resolution?
Can I just ask real quickly, are we striking everything under that evidence section, or are we adding that language to it?
I would propose that we just substitute that language for the existing.
I think maybe keeping in the first sentence, which is an explanation of how the finding required.
Right. Are we ready? Would somebody like to make a
I
motion?
was going to ask, we can go ahead and move without having to reprint and read.
No.
You I would so move.
Do you want my recommendation? We missed that last
yes.
time.
We will trust Madeline to have captured that language change.
Yes. All right, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve Planning Commission Resolution 2024-012 as amended, thus approving the determination that the project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to Guideline 15061B3, and approving the extension of time request to allow the applicant 6 additional years to record approved tentative parcel map 2020-071 for the recordation of a final map to create an approximately 7,000 square foot fee simple lot based on the findings contained therein.
So moved.
So seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Passes 4-0-0-1, actually, more technically. Thank you. Good luck.
This item is final unless appealed to the Board of Supervisors within 15 calendar days.
All right. Is everybody good with going on, or does anyone want a break?
We're looking at you.
The applicant is requesting a continuance, so why don't we, do you want to let them make that request? And just-
Sure.
Good morning, Chair Plotnick, members of the commission. Thank you for the opportunity to be heard. To facilitate further good faith discussions between the applicant and the opponents to this project, we'd ask for a continuance to June 13th to hopefully resolve the opposition and any future dispute that may arise absent a resolution there.
Okay. I believe we have to take public comment on that, and then thank you for the request.
Thank you.
So is there any member of the public who would like to comment on the request for continuance of this item to June 13th or a similar date? I'm gonna just, the reason I'm saying maybe a different date is because I won't be here and you will require a unanimous vote of the commission when there's only 3 people here. So you might prefer a date that has all 4 commissioners available.
And I'm not going to be here May 25th, so.
So the next available meeting
The
to
next
continue
available.
this would be, well, I think the question is, do we want to continue it to a date certain so people know what date it is, we don't have to re-advertise it? Or do you want to just continue it off calendar? And I'll ask the representative of the applicant for that.
We prefer a full commission for the next hearing, so I would say let's just continue it, leave open for scheduling.
Well, do you want to continue it to the following meeting, the 27th, I guess it would be,
Yes.
June 27th?
So I know there's a separate code issue, and I just wanted to check in with Mr. Oliver whether he would find that time extension to be adequate for his purposes.
Come on up.
Doug Oliver, Chief Building Official. Any cannabis or code-related items that can be sorted out between the applicant and any opposition would be preferred prior to coming to your commission, so we would have no problem with this.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public who would like to speak to this request?
There's no online public comment.
Great.
I'm Travis Owens. I represent the opponent, and we have no objection. We're requesting the continuance as well, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Then we will close the public comment portion and bring it back to the commission.
So I'd recommend you continue it to a date certain of June 27th.
If that's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday, I do believe.
Yes. Do we have a motion on this?
I'll move that we continue this to the date certain of June 27th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The motion passes 4-0-0-1. Thank you, everybody.
And good luck.
Yes, yes. Are there any additional informational items? Nope. Or commissioner reports? I'm reporting that I'm going to be gone on June 13th.
And I'm reporting I'll be gone on May 25th.
Planning director.
So we've already canceled the meeting of, the first meeting of May. And at this point, I think just in order to facilitate things, we don't really have anything else coming up. We'll probably just cancel the meeting of May, whatever, It's not gonna be-
whatever it is.
The day you're gonna be gone, they're not gonna be gone. Unless there's something that comes up, but we'll let you know, but at this point in time, we don't have anything ready to be scheduled for that hearing, so probably have the whole month of May off. After, it'll make up for all the extra meetings you had previously, so.
So we are canceling both meetings in May?
Probably, definitely the first one, probably the second one, we'll let you know as soon as we make that determination, but most likely it would be. I don't think we have anything that is pressing that needs to come up right then, and we can focus on, getting the zoning code ordinance scheduled for a special hearing. Give us your dates as soon as possible, and then these are items that will come back.
Great. With that, we're adjourned.
Wow.
At 10:10. I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I.
Thank you, everyone.